This is Worldwide Flava Network. Coast to coast and worldwide.
The views, information, or opinions expressed on the broadcast of Worldwide Flava Network are solely those of the individuals involved and does not represent those of Worldwide Flava Network and Live365.com. Worldwide Flava Network is not responsible and does not verify for accuracy of the information contained on any live or recorded broadcast available for listening on the site.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Shell, also known as Color Beauty. Join me on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on WWFN Online Radio. When 2 minutes is not enough, we go into overtime. See you then.
This show is being sponsored by Worldwide Flavor Network. If you are looking to have your own radio show, come and join us here on WWFN Online Radio. Contact us via our website, www.worldwideflavornetwork.com.
Good evening, and welcome to Positions on Sports Talk Show, Post, on the Worldwide Flavor Network, featuring Big Reg
and J3
and friends. Tune in every Tuesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. on the Worldwide Flavor Network, WWFN Online Radio.
Worldwide Flava Network.
Good evening, and welcome to the Position on Sports Talk Show, Post, on the Worldwide Flavor Network, bringing you a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports without hidden agendas or deference to any organization or team. Before we go any further, I would just like to apologize to all of our listeners. We had some technical difficulties last week, and unfortunately, we did a great show, but none of y'all heard it.
Yeah. Right.
So again, we apologize, appreciate the support, and hopefully you're back this week. And we got a bang-up show for you this week because try to make up for last week.
Yes, indeed.
My name is Big Reg. I'm joined by my partners in crime this evening, my brother, J3. How you doing, J3?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
We also got our partner in crime, Big Al. How you feeling, Big Al?
Doing wonderful, thank you.
Fantastic. And this evening, we got some special guests in the studio. We got a full studio for y'all this weekend. First, we got Mr. Professor J. How you feeling, Professor?
I'm feeling great. Glad to be here. Bless the DMV.
Yes, indeed.
Glad to have you. And our extra special guest, the ladies of Ladies POV, Yo and Mika. How y'all ladies feeling this evening? Thank y'all for coming out.
We good. Thank you. Thank you for having us out. Thank
Yay.
you.
Yay.
For all y'all out
Great.
there, Ladies POV, since you didn't catch us last week, it's a great podcast. Check them out, look them up. And again, we appreciate everybody for coming out this evening. This evening, we're going to discuss the Major League Baseball World Series. We've got a big Game 6 tonight. Hopefully these Nats can force a Game 7. And then we had a whole bunch of other topics that we were going to discuss until late breaking news came out this afternoon when the NCAA Board of Governors approved to finally let NCAA athletes profit from their own names, images, and likeness.
It's about time.
So we're going to kick that around this evening. If we have time after we kick that around, we might touch a little NFL and a little NCAA football. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Post on the Worldwide Flavor Network. So, yo, Mika, tell us a little about Ladies POV.
Welcome.
Okay, this has been long overdue for both of us. We initially didn't even know each other. We got together. Should I say his name? No. Okay, so
We don't do any free advertising right here.
oh, trust us, we're not. No, not on that level. Trust me. But no, we Rocky Parrish. He used to be on the radio here in the area as well. He was looking for someone to, a few people to start a radio, show. Everybody kind of put our applications in. Is that what you want to say?
Okay.
And we he picked from the group, and there were what, 5, 6 of us. Yeah, initially, Rock Deep Road Radio was what we started out as. And now we are down to our 2 after some difficulties or some disagreements, kind of.
A work in progress, right?
Yeah,
It's a work in progress.
Yeah,
That's it.
so
A work in progress.
Yeah, but we wanted to get, we really struggled to get our show together. I mean, like when I say really struggled, we really struggled from recording to finding time to record. Just getting it out there. It was really a struggle for us, and we really enjoyed talking about sports. So here we are now, finally, with our way of doing things, and we're trying to get it out there.
Outstanding.
Very good.
Outstanding.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's your, we heard, yo?
I'm glad that with me, But first of all, thank you for having us. We appreciate it. But yeah, like Yo said, it's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle for us to find time, find space, but we finally got something down and doing it. So we are 11 episodes in now for Ladies.
Wow.
Nice.
And yeah, we just doing it. We're loving it. We're enjoying talking sports.
Congratulations.
Very good.
And everything else.
Now, in a male-dominated space, what drew you to a position where you want to do us?
I mean, like I said, we both like sports. So, and Yo was on it. Okay, she more so than I am. I'm a sports head, but Yo was a sports head. So we just kind of bounce things off of each other and feel like, it's like you said, it's male dominated, but the women out here know sports too. We talk sports, and people are very surprised at that. We don't watch games just for looks.
You're not just watching to watch, the men run up and down in the tight shorts.
Not at all. We watch to see what players are going to be called, what they're going to do, and all of that good stuff. So we love it.
Well, people don't realize the biggest growing segment of sports advertising, marketing, and just the way to grow the viewership is female listeners, viewers. So I really appreciate what y'all doing. I'm honored that y'all had me come do one of your podcasts. Can't wait to come back. And
the invite is always open.
Don't sell yourself short talking about you're not a big sports fan. I don't know too many people that go to Redskin Park, watch the team leave, and come back and watch them come home.
You're right. In the wee hours of the night.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a trooper right there.
I'm crazy.
That's a trooper right there.
Bless your heart. It's been over 10
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Ooh, child.
That's dedication for real, for real.
I mean, we were out there in the pouring rain one time when Redskins came back from Seattle.
Really?
We had Coach Gibbs. Coach Gibbs was looking at us like, you guys are nuts.
Right.
We said, anything for you, Coach.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a mess, but I love it.
Okay.
We got stories to tell out at that park.
I'm sure.
You wouldn't believe.
I'm sure.
Can't wait to hear on future episodes of Ladies POD. All right, Professor, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I can tell you this. I won't be standing outside the pouring rain. I'll be ready to cut the TV off if they lose these games. I'm just being honest with you. But yeah, I'm born and raised in the Washington, D.C. area. Grew up highly competitive sports fan, played sports, watched sports, appreciate the games that we have to offer. It's been a long time because the Skins, You know, they haven't won anything of any consequence in a very long time.
Mm.
So we look into the Caps, we look into the Nationals. Even you can't forget about DC United. They brought home some trophies in the last few years.
What about
So-
the Mystics?
You missed one.
Yeah,
Hey, don't be shortchanging the ladies.
because that's new. And see now, hold on, that's touching on a chord because they not even getting a parade.
Nah.
What's up with that? See, that's something y'all should definitely be raising a voice on.
There's a technicality for that. There's a
Yeah.
technicality for that.
Uh-huh.
There's a reason why they're not doing a parade.
Okay.
Half of the team had to leave
Right.
because they have
Ah.
contracts because they don't get paid enough by the WNBA
See, that's
to
the
earn
issue
a
too.
living here, so
Exactly.
they have to go overseas. So
Yeah.
most of them had to be to their overseas team within a week
That's
Right.
of the season ending.
Yeah.
So that's why they didn't have a parade, but they are planning one for the spring.
okay.
Yeah, they are
Good.
playing.
That's good to hear.
Mhm.
Good to hear. So I'm a big sports fan. I'm glad to be here. I was listening to and watching your podcast from last week, and I was just texting Joe like, "Man, y'all hit some good points." You know, just let them know that anytime you need a guest, you just holler at me, and I'll be there. And it just worked out today that I could be here. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
We appreciate you being here.
We
Yes,
definitely
indeed.
appreciate you being here. So looking down, I see you got that Bryce Harper jersey on, but we're gonna leave you alone because we understand when you
come
spend
on.
money on a jersey.
See-
I mean, you got to rock your
All right,
jersey.
now, I'm one of the people that wasn't upset that Bryce made his choice.
Mhm.
You know, when it comes down to it, people don't realize that the first offer the Nats put on the table, he felt that he was worth more than that.
Mhm.
Now, we all work jobs. We all feel like we worth a certain amount of money. We
Yep.
have the right of first refusal.
Totally
So
agree.
after that happened, the Nats did what they needed to do. They put together the team to move forward because they figured that they'll be playing without him. And that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know Bryce probably upset in Philly because I would be too. But no, we don't talk about a Bryce curse. This is one of my favorite jerseys. So I think we're going to do the thing tonight.
I hope
feel
so.
you. I feel you.
Man,
I
hope
feel you.
so.
Yeah.
Because they just came to our hometown and just owned it. Like we
Yeah.
wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who? What? Where? Y'all? We playing where?
Well, they did to us what we did to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So, I mean, Big Al, this is your neck of the woods. So, what we doing tonight, man?
Well, I'm going to just say this first. As I stated before, I said Houston in 6 games. I believe that the Nats do have a great opportunity to win tonight. They're in a really good position, especially with who they have on the mound tonight.
Strasburg.
He's been dominant in the playoffs,
Mhm.
no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we
He's
need more
been-
runs.
right. But
Pitching
see,
is good, but
but
we
as-
need somebody that's gonna hit the ball.
right, like, as I stated before, when it all started, they have to hit the ball.
Exactly.
If they hit
Absolutely.
the ball, they have opportunity to win. They did it when they was in Houston, but when you only able to put up single runs
Right.
against a dominant Houston lineup, lose.
Yep.
Period. So that's where we're at with that. But
So you sticking with Astros in 6?
6 games.
Mm.
I love the Nats, though. I mean, I'm rooting for them, but
Nah,
I
it's
got to go by
Strasmus
who I
tonight.
stuck with before
we
the
gonna get it
series
done.
started.
I will
All
tell.
right. We're gonna have to let you go. We're gonna let you go.
I'm sorry.
Time will
Yo,
tell.
what you think about tonight, yo?
Well, I like Strauss. I tend to like pitchers a lot. It took me a little while to really kind of take on a baseball team. I never really had a baseball team, so I'm gravitating with the Nationals just because I'm here. But like I said, I've always liked pitchers. Randy Johnson, just like the big unit. I really like pitchers. But anyway, Strauss is on the mound tonight. I know it's going to be a little stressful for him. I don't know whether or not, like he said, it's like Big Al just said, it really does depend on the hitting. You have, I think we have Verlander up for Houston.
Verlander's
tonight.
throwing.
So,
Who's never
He's
won
got
a
a
game in the
terrible
World
record. Yeah.
Series?
He's never
He's
won a
got a
game in the
terrible
World
record.
Series, but as you saw Cole come back in Game 5, I just have the feeling that Verlander may come back in Game 6. So it's gonna really have to do with the batting tonight. We'll see what happens with the lineup. I know a lot of people are down because Scherzer is not pitching tonight, but they did. I think they did mention that he's going to come back in Game 7 if
7.
there's a Game
If
7.
there's
And
a
I know
Game
that
7.
Major League Baseball would love for there to be a Game 7 in the World Series. So that's why I'm kind of also hoping, really, really hard that the Nats will pull this one out. I mean, I honestly do. So we're great on the road. So we'll see what happens.
You said hoping. I asked you for a pick. You do a sports podcast. Don't tap dance on me. Give me a pick.
I'm gonna go with the Nats.
That's right.
Thank you.
There we go.
I like it.
Let's bring some good positive energy to the team.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Why not? Why not them?
All right, Mika, you next on the hot seat. Who you? Tell me something.
Disclaimer. I didn't start watching baseball until the World Series now. So I didn't go in to see what's going on. But I mean, I'm going for the Nats.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the Nats pull it out tonight.
Yeah.
That's real team, home team spirit. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
Exactly.
J3, who you got?
Come on, man. You already know I'm going for the home team, man. Stop playing.
No analysis and that. You just going with your heart.
That's it. That's it.
All right. All right.
Well, like people have said, it all depends on the bats tonight. If they can get to Verlander early, he will fall apart. So they have to not only get hits early, they actually have to score some runs early.
Yeah.
If they can score within the first 2 to 3 innings, multiple runs, Nats win Game 6.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
If they don't score early,
let's do it.
it's been a hell of a run, and let's get it ready for next year. But I think the Nats are going to do it, and I think we got Game 7 tomorrow for all the marbles. And if that works out, it may just work out that little pain in the neck that Scherzer had may work out perfectly for him to start Game 7 and bring home the trophy to ODC.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So it's no easy way to transition from World Series baseball to NCAA. We're going to change the rules. But this afternoon, after being pushed by California's new law that's set to start in 2023, the NCAA all of a sudden changed their minds and decided unanimously that they're going to allow NCAA athletes to profit and benefit from their own names, images, and likeness, like every other student on the campus could before.
It's about time. That's all I got to say. It's about time.
Yeah.
Now they say they're going to have Division 1, 2, and 3 have to have rules in place by 2021 at the latest. So we're talking about a little over a year from now. So, A, are you surprised that it happened so quickly?
Nope.
No.
And B, what do you think some of the ramifications of this new rule coming in?
I think one of the main reasons why they're doing this is they're trying to get players to stay in the league, because once they do their first year, they're gone. They're going into whatever profession they can so they can make money. And if you keep them there and at least allow them to make money, they'll stay longer.
So you think that people will actually stay in the college longer because they have an opportunity to make a little money?
Yes, I do.
That's interesting. I really haven't thought about that, and definitely haven't heard anybody really. That's an interesting point of view. Wow. I hear you, J3, outside the box.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I definitely could see that. Like I said, the players staying in the NCAA a longer period of time. Yeah, it just makes sense.
Mm.
You don't agree?
I'm gonna pull back the mask just a little bit.
Pull it all the way off. Go ahead.
This notion of a student athlete. When these coaches go to these high schools, when they go into these towns to recruit these young men and women, they have dollar signs in their eyes. Now, it started when coaches started being paid these enormous salaries, and people started getting up in arms about that. Now the students are saying, look, you recruited me to come to your big school. It's 70 to 100,000 people in these stadiums.
Every week.
charge every
Mhm.
week. You charging a lot of money for people to come to your games like a pro game,
Mhm.
but yet we're being penalized because we can't sign autographs, we can't give away jerseys, we can't profit from it at the same time. And then when we do, you take our Heismans, you take our scholarships, you punish our schools. So now that this is being done, the schools are saying, okay, we're going to acknowledge that this stuff has always been going on, but now we're going to make sure that we continue to profit more from it as a result, because now that it's open to do it, there's no hiding it. Then now they can stand to, like you say, keep the student athlete there longer so that they can benefit from it more. And now you'll start to see juniors and seniors stay in college, and now it'll benefit the other teams that are already juggernauts. You can see the Alabamas, the Ohio States, maybe USC will even come back to prominence, because now you can have seniors like college basketball used to do, where everybody's staying, and now you can win titles from that.
Now, just to be clear for some of you out there, this is not saying that the colleges will be paying the athletes directly yet. It's coming.
Mhm.
it's
See?
coming.
It's coming.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
This
already
is-
going. Yeah,
this
it's
is just
coming.
the
Yeah.
tip of the
Right,
iceberg.
right.
But most people don't realize that other scholarship students on campus are allowed to get jobs,
Mhm.
make money in the profession that they're working in. And there's no issue about it. It's just college athletes are
Right.
supposed to be grateful and be thankful that you're getting
Yeah.
an education. And I won't even get too deep on that education, because if you really take a look, most of those people have predetermined school schedules, majors that they can go into. And if they don't follow that path, God help them if something goes wrong
Mhm.
and they can't make a class or miss a test and it interferes with their sport.
Mhm.
So let me get off my soapbox right now. Let some other people speak. So what else y'all got to say about this new development out there for the NCAA?
Okay, well, for me, that kind of seems unfair, because I know that there are other student athletes, and I know that the other students go out and they work in the, well, they have like internships and things like this that they go and work at, but they're actually working for those companies for that money, whereas the college athlete is they're using their name, image, and likeness. They're not actually working for those companies using their names, images, and likeness.
You
So it's
call
a bit
practicing 40 hours a week,
so no, but I
study
mean, but
hall
it's
and
a
all that
slight,
not
but
working?
no, but I'm not saying it's not working. But what I'm saying is that when car dealership come to you and say, I want to use the back of your jersey to help sell my cars, he's not actually working at the car dealership per se, as another, maybe a science major is, working at some lab where they're getting paid directly from that business. You're just using their name. You pay them, it's like a one-time payment for the use of their likeness and image, whereas this is a repeated process for those other students who are working in their fields. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's bad either way, but I just think that there's a bit of a difference between the two, because I've always been and I really, that's why I used to like LeVar Arrington so much, because stipends for these students to play, because they come to these schools, like you said, and they supposed to be grateful for the fact that they're actually there. And some of the facilities and some of the things that they get are fantastic.
Mhm.
Now,
Lot of
not
perks
every
now.
school has them,
Mhm.
but the ones that do, those boys aren't going hungry. Those boys aren't sleeping on cots. So, and I know that it's going to probably, to me, I think where it's going to really hit, I think is the boosters, because now, I mean, you're saying it's out in the open, they're paying, but I mean, the boosters are still going to have that problem, because this is where they were doing it underhand. And now they actually can't even do it out in the open, because now everybody's going to be able to go out around and get their own, probably more than what they were getting from boosters. But that's just my opinion.
It all boils down to money.
Okay.
It all
Right,
boils
right.
down to money.
Yeah,
Who has the most?
Right.
That's just my opinion.
I think if you bring some things out of shadows and bring them to the light, while everybody is out there scared that, oh, they're going to be paying too many players and only the big schools will benefit. No, I think Division III athletes will be able to benefit because they may not be big nationwide, but they can be very big in that region or in that city.
Right.
And all it takes is for one scout to look at them
Right.
and get them on the team.
And even though I may not work at your dealership, using that analogy, if I can bring you 2 more sales a month because people want to come to a place that I told them about, it's just like marketing any commercial. Why shouldn't I benefit from that as well?
Yeah, I think another thing you got to look at too is will there be straight equality across the board for the men and the women?
Well, yeah, that's
Because
a
it's
good
a
question.
male
That's a good
dominant,
question. Yeah,
so
that-
male dominant. So that's a lot of red tape there too.
When is there equality between men and women anyway?
In
I
sports,
understand.
in sports.
In general.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know, but it should be.
Yeah, we agree, but that's not reality.
No.
Unfortunately.
A little extra ointment in the wheel of this new thing is that the NFL Players Association has contacted the NCAA Student Athletes Association, I believe it is. It's an organization I didn't know existed, but they want to work with them because they're saying this new law or new rules will actually directly affect not only jersey sales, but they're talking about TV broadcast rights. They're talking about internet broadcast rights. Now you're talking about tapping into that $1 billion industry. And I think that's going to end up in the court. Because the NCAA ain't going to let them billions of dollars just go easy.
Right. I mean, I would even take it back a few years. Say I'm Reggie Bush playing for USC, and you recruited me. You knew I came from humble beginnings, all that good stuff. You want me to play on this big stage. And we know his story. They took his Heisman and everything behind it. But the fact still remains that we have many Reggie Bushes that these coaches and ADs are going out to get. And now that you're saying, okay, we're going to offer you a scholarship, but now when you're our star player, you can now benefit from your likeness. Like you say, when does it stop? It has to go even further, because when I see the money that's changing hands, when I remember that my family not doing so well and all I want to do is get into the NFL, now we got a different conversation now. Now I can make a little bit more money, because now I'm the face of your college, not just, on the football field, but everywhere I go in this community, people are saying Heisman candidate, we got a national title on the line. So now I'm thinking much bigger than any NFL contract. So now you got kids that are now thinking what they would have gotten in the NFL. Now they can get a lot sooner. That's going to make parents more anxious. That's going to make high school coaches more anxious. Like across the board, there's going to be this ripple effect, because everybody now is going to have their hand out.
Absolutely.
And now they can do it openly, at least a little bit.
Like we said before, it's all about money. Plain and simple. It's all about money. Who can make the most, and how fast can you get it?
Right.
A lot of people out there naive that think that athletes aren't currently getting paid.
Right.
So let's just, get that out the way.
Boosters,
You said
Not only just the boosters,
Right.
their envelopes. Can anybody, remember the Adidas federal indictments?
Exactly.
Nike
Yeah.
is supposed to be next. Come on. So they've been paid. So let's just get it out of the shadows, get it out front, and let these people, if you have the ability to make money, if somebody wants to pay you like any other American, that you get paid. And if you had a big time program and that's why you go, because you need to help mom and dad, that's just extra benefit.
Right.
Long overdue.
Yeah. Because if you're going to pay me, I'll pay my own college tuition if I'm getting millions of dollars. I don't need your scholarship.
You know who did that?
Who did that?
Deion Sanders.
Okay.
When he went to Florida State, because he had a minor league baseball contract with the Yankees.
Right. Yes.
He went to Florida State and paid his own.
That's
The Yankees
right.
paid his college for him.
Right.
And I mean, coming up this afternoon, coming up to the radio station, someone made a great point of view. You look at the European sports model. They identify kids early, and as teenagers put them in academies
Yep.
and pay them
Yep.
for their potential. So if they can do it all around the world, why can't we figure it out here in the U.S.?
That's because we was greedy. We want to keep all the money to the companies.
The
wanted to keep all the money.
NCAA wanted to keep the money to themselves.
Exactly.
They came out with a model, 70 years ago, and they want to keep that because what used to be making a few thousands, then a few hundred thousands, then a few millions is now grown into $billion industry. So let everybody eat.
Get paid.
Right. Yeah.
You got anything to say, Mika? You've been a little quiet on the subject. I know we talked about it on your podcast a little bit.
I mean, I agree with the points of what everybody was saying, especially what J3 was saying about the kids staying a little longer in school instead of going, like say, that 1 year and then they off to the pros.
Hopefully.
So,
Hopefully.
yeah, right. Hopefully. So it's my little 2 cents.
Appreciate it. And even that's already been circumvented a little bit. You've got 3 high schoolers right now that are playing in the Australian Professional League, including one of the ball kids. You've had 2 guys last year who went on paid internships with shoe companies instead of going to college. So they were getting ready to work around it.
Ways
anyway.
around it. Yep.
The NBA, I think, is going to lower the age limit again and make you, if you can be drafted, go ahead and be drafted. But I think they're going to work it out with the NCAA that allow the kids that don't make it maybe to go back to college.
Yeah.
Because that's been the big problem. You get family members, talk you up. Oh, are you good as anybody else? Go pro. Then you don't make it, or 2 years later, then what you gonna do?
And then reality sets in.
Yep.
Yeah, you thought you was good.
Right.
Right. You ain't got nothing to fall back on.
So do we have anybody here tonight that thinks this is a bad idea and just shouldn't happen?
No, not at all.
No.
It's long overdue.
Right.
Long
If you got
overdue.
kids that have the aspirations of wanting to go pro, but they have to do the stepping stones that they need to, and that's going to college and trying to get drafted, let them get paid while they're in school.
NCAA, I know they put a gun to your head, but you finally got something right, and you were able to save your organization because I think you were getting close to the Big Five just walking away and saying we can do it ourselves and start paying people. Because when a coach can make $10 million a year, pay his assistants $2 million a year, pay a strength coach $750,000 a year.
Wow.
But the people out there that's getting hurt,
Right.
that's actually putting butts in the seats,
0.
can't get anything, and
Nada.
God help them if they get caught signing a jersey or autograph.
Right.
They did something right.
I mean, you can't even have your own YouTube channel and make money right now. So, good job, NCAA. I'm glad you moved on. We will see how this works out and continue to talk about it as new revelations come up. So, since we're in NCAA, let's talk about the big upset of the week. What y'all think about Oklahoma, or better yet, Oklahoma's defense reverting back to its old self and causing them to lose that game? I mean, that was ridiculous. Jalen Hurts
Baller.
threw for 395 yards and a
Baller.
touchdown, rushed for 95 yards and scored 3 touchdowns.
Baller.
And you lose 48-41 to Kansas State.
Happens. Anything, any given day, bro, you can lose.
Man, you gotta play some defense.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
I bet he wish he had that Alabama defense in that game. I'm telling you. That's not even the kicker game for me, but I'm a flow through the Oklahoma one. The one that hurt me was Michigan Notre Dame.
I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say.
I think Jalen Hurts is still in the driver's seat for the Heisman Trophy.
I agree.
And
Yep.
I really, I'm rooting for him to really pull that off. I'm crushed because I wanted to see a Oklahoma-Alabama matchup in the playoffs at least.
Yep.
And if it was the semifinals, but it doesn't look like, unless some things happen with LSU, that might be a possibility. But I really think Jalen did himself a great service by doing the smart thing and transferring as a graduate. He got with a coach that has the last 2 Heisman Trophy winners,
Absolutely.
and he wants to play quarterback in the NFL. So I think
Exactly.
he made the right move. But the defense, I mean, they the Bamas of the week. That's all I can say.
Okay, let me low down.
The whole defense, whole Oklahoma defense.
That's representing right there.
Yeah, that hurt, man. You could see he was crushed on the
Yeah,
sidelines at the end of the game.
right.
You're like, what else I got to do?
Superman
Well,
out there.
ain't say the Superman can't play both sides of the ball, bro.
Right.
Not at all.
It just killed me. How can a coach be so brilliant on one side of the ball and not be able to get competent people to coach the other side of the ball and recruit good players?
Right.
I mean, somebody really should go out on a national search for the Big 12 and find the 5 baddest people coming out of high school on the defensive side and get all of them to commit to go to one Big 12 team. They can run the Big 12 for 3-4 years because nobody else plays defense in that, in that
Right.
league.
No.
Well, now you can pay them.
So that might come to fruition.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to change everything.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you said a little bit about Michigan, Notre Dame. Don't tell me you're a Notre Dame fan.
I am a Notre Dame fan. Been a
Wow.
Notre Dame fan since the days of Lou Holtz, Rocket Ishmael, Tim Brown. You know, those my
Okay.
boys, man.
All right.
Tony Rice.
And that was a true upset.
But the way it is right now, I'm just like, I feel like Paul Feinbaum said, Notre Dame need to go ahead and buy out Kelly and hire Urban Meyer. I really feel that way because he's a good coach. He's not a championship coach. And Notre Dame is long overdue for a championship. I'm still hurting when they lost the national title to Florida State when they had Charlie Ward because on the last play of the game against Boston
now.
College,
Let it go. Let it go.
my man
Let it go.
could not
Let it
make
go.
the
Go ahead, tell us how you
Let
feel.
it go.
Let it go, man. I'm starving for a championship for Notre Dame.
The rules of this show is no deference to any team.
Right, you right.
Come on now.
But like I told you, that would hurt.
We can feel it. We can feel it.
Anything jump out for you ladies this weekend in college football?
I don't get much of a chance to watch college football on Saturdays because I'm working, unfortunately.
Got you.
But I'm just wondering how you guys feel. I mean, I know they're not great, but how do you guys feel about Maryland?
They're a disappointment.
No,
Thank you.
stop,
The reason
stop,
why I
stop,
asked this is
stop.
because,
Disappointment.
Stop.
They got the new coach. They looked all strong, the first couple games, and then they played the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like now what happened to what they had?
The little hype that they had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what happened
that's
to
all
all
that
of
was.
Loxley got to recruit. He got to get his own
Thank
boys
you.
I
in
think
there.
so. Yeah. I think
Maryland
so
was
too.
starting from ground
Right,
zero.
Right.
That college, as far as football, and actually almost all the sports, almost went to the point, with the exception of the women's basketball team and the men's basketball team, because of what was going on, that college was almost going to be kind of, get the death knell as far as being able to get anybody to come there and play any of their sports.
Right.
So Loxley is starting from ground zero, totally rebuilding the program. So it's going to take time.
Right.
We had a couple of sparkles in the beginning,
Yes.
but they weren't playing anybody.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He just wanted to show people, hey, this is my offense. This is the things we can do. Now let me get some athletes here.
Right.
Hopefully athletes from the DMV and keep
Yeah,
them
I
home
think so.
instead of going to Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, and other places. So, y'all got back off of Loxley and the Maryland Terps. Let them build. Let them build.
Yeah. He came from Alabama though, so I
Right,
know he
and that's
pulling some
right.
stuff.
No, he
That's
came
right.
from here.
Yeah, but I'm
Well,
talking about as far as his
coach,
professional coaching.
No, he coached here.
He did. I didn't know
He
that.
was supposed to be one of the coaches in waiting years ago when Fridge was here.
Okay.
Loxley's been here. Loxley
And
was
see,
the
don't
head
get me started
recruiter
on
from
Fridge.
here.
What was her name? Debbie Al, the former AD of Maryland,
Yeah,
ran
yeah,
out
yeah.
Gary Williams and Fridge. I mean, we would have a solid program on both fronts if they were both still here. Then she went to another school and ended up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Ruined our program.
We did have a
Okay, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You keep bringing up old stuff.
you took me down that road, though.
True Washingtonian right there, bro.
But I'm glad to know Loxley is homegrown because
Yeah.
I think he's going to really turn this program around. Because I think when he get into some living rooms and be able to really show his passion for the game, Maryland will be back.
This week upcoming, we're not going to go too deep into the rest of the games, but you only got a couple of good games coming. Georgia plays number 6 Florida. That's probably the biggest game of this week. Got a couple of Pac-12, Pac-10 games out there that might be okay. You Notre Dame fighting Irish, got the Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
but it's over for them.
Yeah, season over. Yeah.
Next week, not this weekend,
Yeah.
November 9th is when the big games happen. So we'll talk about those next week. We got a little time to hit a little pro football. So what games jumped out at y'all over the weekend for the pro football?
Let's go ahead and start off with the Who Dat Nation, because we talked a little bit about it last
Drew
week, even though y'all
Brees.
couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
So, totally surprised. I was hoping that Teddy was going to start, but they went on and put the veteran in, which, I mean, it is his team, so you can't be mad at that.
The stat
He
line
did put
showed
up- Yeah. He did put up the
Stat
points.
line
That's
showed
my
it.
boy.
But
right there.
Teddy, again, he won 5 games in a row. So, I mean,
Well, one good thing out of that, he set him up for the offseason.
yeah.
And that's what it all comes down to.
Teddy gonna get paid.
He gonna get
Oh,
paid.
yeah. Yeah.
Well deserved, too.
And it might be
Yes.
in New Orleans. If Drew wins it all this year, he gonna ride off into the sunset.
It's possibly
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And he gonna
Maybe.
turn it
I
over.
don't know, man. Look
Did
at
you see the way Drew looked
Right.
after the
Oh
game?
yeah, I
Man.
watch
Drew
every
don't-
throw. Yeah.
Drew don't look like he ready to retire anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Oh,
But I,
I think
don't think he want to look like Brady though.
No, I think he gonna
Yeah.
pull a Brady.
Yeah.
I think he
don't
gonna
know.
say, yeah, y'all gotta let him go.
Because Brady looked bad. Brady looked bad.
He's still winning rings.
Defense.
Defense
He's
right
still
there.
undefeated.
total off.
Still undefeated.
But I gotta say, New Orleans is leading the pack with Drew Brees to win that Super Bowl.
Ooh, I don't know. I think
Come on,
the
let me
man
hear
to my
it.
right
Let me hear it.
got something to say about that. Because them
Let me
Niners
hear
are
it.
looking
Oh, they got
terrible.
something for him. They
Them,
got something
them
for him.
Niners, that front
49ers ain't
front
playing,
seven.
man.
Yeah, they
That
the
front
truth.
7 get after everybody.
Yeah, they the truth. Yeah.
Everybody. And when you keep running like that, I don't care who you playing. That's tough. That's tough to stop.
That's true, but Drew can get that ball out real quick though.
I
He
know
got
he
Michael
can.
Thomas,
And
he
that
got
makes all the
Kamar.
difference in the world.
Yeah, he can get that ball out.
He
and he
sees
can
the
read
whole
them
field.
defenses
Right.
a little better than Teddy too.
Yeah.
So wherever that
Yeah.
pressure coming from, you
Right.
best believe.
Well, let's not sleep on Green Bay either.
No.
Because they're clicking on all cylinders now.
And we knew that was
offense
going to
is
happen.
coming.
We talked about it earlier.
They looking really good right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But which teams have both sides of the ball playing to their optimum? I was shocked at what your Niners did to Carolina. Not only did they beat them, I thought they would win the game, but the rush for 232 yards and 5 TDs against the Panthers?
Yeah.
Tevin Cole.
Yeah, they pummeled him, man. They ran it right down the throat.
Yeah. Atlanta should have kept him.
Well, Atlanta.
We're not talking about
Yeah,
that.
we don't talk about
Tevin
non-relevant
Coleman, that
teams
beat.
except for
Keep
the Skins.
Right. Keep it moving because they ain't even worth it at all.
Speaking about non-relevant teams, so what y'all think about your Skins
Oh man.
and the young man getting thrown to the wolves
Really?
again?
Really?
Again.
Really?
Oh
We
man.
got
I
to talk
mean, it's
about
bad
this.
storyline after bad storyline.
Exactly.
I mean,
We-
what can you say? I
Wasting our
mean,
breath.
I don't even have words.
Exactly. Let's keep it moving, man. Keep it moving.
We got anything from the Die Hard?
You know what?
At least Trent Williams about to be back in the building.
I know. I heard. We'll see. We'll see.
That don't mean he gonna play.
Exactly.
100%
Exactly.
sold on that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know about Dwayne. I don't know if they lying. I don't know
They
if
lying.
he's just not getting the reps
They
for
lying.
real. But it's like you said, the storyline after
Yeah.
storyline.
But that's what they do.
It's always some smoke
Yeah.
screen somewhere. I don't know. And then it seems as if I know that he didn't want to be here.
Mm.
I know, he wanted to be with the Giants.
Let him go.
But at least but he at least needs to act like he wants to be here.
Just because the man says, why do you think he doesn't act like he wants to be here? Question for you.
He just has that nonchalant attitude. Like I don't care. When he
'Cause
comes
he
off
upset.
the field, he's not, with the
He want
coach.
to play.
He's not, I don't know. It's a lot that I feel like he's not doing, but is it because they are not trying to let him play? Is it because he's not picking up, where he needs to pick up? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it could be, but
He had one of the highest, what they call it, Wonderlic tests. So it's not intelligence.
Yeah.
I think it's more or less when you know that somebody didn't want you.
yeah.
It's hard
Exactly.
for you to really
Exactly.
accept your place.
And I totally understand that. I totally understand that. So I'm hoping that things get better for him, but at least act like you want to be
We
here.
just got
As
clean
I-
house.
Hold up.
As
Hold
I,
up.
as I
Hold up.
said earlier, the best thing would have been if he had never had to play at all this year until a new coaching regime. If you came into your work, knew that your boss and your boss's bosses
Right.
and the people that supervise you directly didn't want you, how would that make you
Yeah.
feel?
Make you feel horrible.
And then
Well,
every
hate
time they
coming to
put you
work.
in the game, they put you in the game to fail.
Right.
Yeah. It's a definite setup for failure.
Memories of RG3.
Oh God, don't even bring that up.
So I mean, we hoping that
What's up,
we get a
J3?
whole new regime in and move on. We ain't gonna talk long on this. 'Cause we got to move on.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
But I mean, yeah.
That's sad.
Exactly.
So this weekend, games of the week to watch in the NFL. You got the Vikings at the Chiefs.
Kirk Cousins.
Patty Mahomes supposed to be back.
Yay.
Yeah.
Titans at Panthers.
Watch them knees.
Ooh. Cam still got a foot problem, even though ain't nobody heard from Cam
Yeah.
lately.
I thought they was going to trade him today, though, for real. I did.
Who they gonna trade him for?
Cleveland.
We gonna leave that. We gonna leave that one alone.
They need a quarterback.
And the game of the weekend, the Patriots come to Baltimore,
Yes, sir.
play the Ravens
game.
Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Wait.
That should be a
That's
good
gonna be a
game.
It's
good
gonna be
game.
the one.
Wait.
Should be a good game.
That's gonna be a monster. So get y'all DVRs ready and everything. So make sure y'all don't miss that.
Right. Ray Lewis might come out of retirement for that.
Don't be surprised if you hear Ray Lewis on the tackle.
Just a couple of shout outs. Got to shout out my man Tiger Woods, who won his
Yes.
82nd PGA tournament,
Hey.
tying the all-time
82.
mark.
All right.
Tiger will soon be the all-time winningest golfer.
Yes, sir.
Also got to shout out my man Shakur Stevenson, Olympic silver medalist, won his first title, the first of the 2016 Olympians to win a world title.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
And this weekend, you got a couple of big events. You got Kovalev against Alvarez for the light heavyweight title. You also got UFC 244 in New York City, fighting for the baddest MF in the game.
Yeah, I heard that.
So, look out for that. Look out for that. So, getting close to the end, we got time for some quick final posts. What you got for me, J3?
We just want to say thank you all, special guests, for coming out today. We appreciate y'all
Appreciate
coming.
you.
Hope you come back.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Big Eye, what you got final post for me?
Much love. I appreciate everybody coming out. and let's just continue on with the episodes here.
Yeah.
Professor.
Man, it's just a joy to be here. I like chopping it up with you guys.
Appreciate it.
I'm sure to return if you'll have me. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're going to leave the best for last.
Ah.
Ladies,
Thank you. Thank y'all. It's been a pleasure. It was fun.
Glad.
And I will come back if you have me.
Absolutely.
All right.
we're going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo.
Same here. It was really excited. We were really excited to really come out. So we really appreciate it. And we hope that we could do, a little bit more collaborations with the shows. I think this is a great opportunity. It's a great setup here. You guys are wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we like to say thank you
Mhm.
all for coming and joining us in studio. We really appreciate it. We know it's a hike for some, if not all, so we don't take that lightly. I'd also like to give a big ups and big thanks out there to, again, all the friends and family and listeners out there. We appreciate y'all. We'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to the Positional Sports Show. Please check us out on Instagram, Mixcloud, Facebook. Have a good evening. Have a great week. This has been The Post on the Worldwide Flavor Network. Please stay tuned for Overtime, featuring Miss Color Beauty. Up next. Good night. Y'all did the thing.
Yeah.
Man, that was cool.
Yeah, it was
That
awesome.
was cool. Great experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully you ladies felt you had enough mic time.